trust that you and your families are safe and healthy during these challenging times. Today, I'm here to talk about UTI's Power of 3 campaign. UTI's Power of 3 is an exercise to build the core of your equity portfolio by investing in funds that have distinct investment strategies. Typically, large cap and multi cap funds make up the core of one's portfolio. These funds could account for 50 to 70% of your exposure depending on your financial goals, your risk profile, and also your preferences. As part of the Power of 3, we first start with UTI Master Share Unit Scheme. This is a large cap oriented scheme and follows a growth at a reasonable price investment strategy. Next up is UTI Equity Fund. This is a multi-cap fund investing across large cap, mid cap, and small cap companies and uses a growth style. Finally, we have the Value Opportunities Fund, which, as the name suggests, uses a value-oriented investment approach. And this also invests across the market cap spectrum. I'll now hand you over to the individual fund managers who will talk at more length about their investment strategies.
Hi friends, I am Swati Kulkarni. I am here to talk to you about UTI Master Share, India's first equity product launched in 1986. Till 2003, this fund was a closed-end fund, and post that it was made open-end fund. Interestingly, from 2005, there was a growth option introduced in the fund. This is a large cap oriented fund which invests in at least 80% of the portfolio in top 100 companies in terms of market capitalization. Most large cap companies, as you know, have resilient business models that enables them to invest on an ongoing basis, sustained basis for growth, as also it helps them to weather the challenging periods much better based on the financial strength as well as management bandwidth that they have. This enables these companies to have leading market positions as well as scale benefits, and often we have seen that long term these companies turn out to be good compounding return stories. I want to share with you how we construct portfolio of UTI Master Share. We follow growth at reasonable price approach, that is, how much is the reasonable price that we are willing to pay given the underlying growth of a company. This approach gives us a framework to also look at companies where market is underestimating either the long growth runway of the company or an improvement in the return ratios or generally the profitability of the business. Basically, when you look at the overall approach to the investment, we follow top-down approach for deciding which sectors we want to go overweight or underweight, and then select stocks which we think from our internal research analysis that are likely to perform better. I also prefer stocks which have competitive franchise. It is a set of advantages that the company has built over a period of time which acts as entry barrier. Competitive franchise, also known as wide economic moats. The sources could be strong brand, the technology investments, R&D investments, the distribution setup. Clearly what we focus on is where these advantages are actually giving pricing power to the company or the cost advantage to the company. Because our experience has been when the company enjoys these benefits, it results into sustained profitability focus, cash flow generation, low debt, and therefore sustained growth in their business earnings. For B2B companies, we look at companies which have shown good amount of capital efficiency, cost efficiencies, investments to go up in the value chain, for example R&D or technology investments, building capabilities. And for B2C businesses, we typically look for companies which have clearly shown brand strength in terms of the continuous investments in the brand, also the distribution setup, how close they are in terms of what their customer needs, working capital management, which we keep focusing on to really choose among the large cap companies, the companies which have competitive franchise as well as available at a reasonable valuation. Just to give you an example, look at the telecom sector. Now there wasn't much pricing power here, but if you look at the number of players, there was clearly the consolidation was happening in the industry, and it could be a case where the players who are having strong balance sheets, strong financial conditions, they could actually sustain this the kind of competition that the sector was witnessing. So that was one thought process, to go an active overweight on some of the names that we have in the portfolio. Also, if you look at in the consumer space, the thought process was, which is the company in discretionary space which is quite close to the ground in terms of customers' needs, of changing needs of customers to go for new type of vehicles. So that was one of the thought process, besides the fact that the company that we own in an overweight position here had almost 3 times the distribution setup that the next competitor had, and the cash flow generation, cumulative free cash flow generation, was also almost 6-7 times more than the competitor. Now look at companies in IT sector. Our preference has been to the companies who have wide distribution of their clients, so we avoid concentrated bets in terms of the client concentration, and that helps. I think in current challenging times, that is even more important. So that's the approach that we have followed for MasterShare. Friends, that's what I had to discuss with you today.
Hello everyone, I am Ajay Tyagi, the fund manager of UTI Equity Fund. Today I shall speak to you about the philosophy of UTI Equity Fund. The fund believes in buying high quality businesses, which we define as businesses with high return on capital employed, or in case of banks, as high return on assets. These businesses generate significant economic value, which becomes the source of long-term wealth creation. Well, that's a phenomena which is true and shall remain true over decades. But under the present circumstances, where we are seeing a huge economic crisis on account of COVID-19 related pandemic, these businesses, which typically have a very strong balance sheet because of their strong cash flow generation, and in fact have a huge amount of cash on their balance sheet and no debt, will remain fairly resilient through the crisis, and in fact will act as consolidators by taking market share away from the weaker players. So, under normal circumstances, they of course create sustainable long-term wealth, and during times of crisis, they act as consolidators. The other thing that we look at in our philosophy is sustainable long-term growth. We try to target secular growth coming on account of increasing consumption in the economy because of our favorable demographics as well as ever increasing per capita income. And we don't chase the cyclical growth, which is extremely volatile. And lastly, the fund invests across market capitalizations, across large, mid and small, focusing on bottom-up stock picking, looking at the microeconomic factors within the business rather than macroeconomic factors or geopolitical factors. This provides us a very stable kind of portfolio with a very low portfolio churn and not too much rotation across sectors. So thank you very much. Stay safe, stay healthy.
Hi, I'm Amit Premchandani and I'm here to talk about UTI Value Opportunity Fund. Value Opportunity Fund is managed as a multi-cap fund with a value tilt. We follow the principle of intrinsic value rather than the traditional multiple-based definition of value. Intrinsic value is the sum total of the present value of cash flow which a company can generate over a period of time for its shareholders. Decision on sectoral allocation as well as market cap mix is largely driven by valuation consideration, while stock level decisions are largely driven by what we call a barbell approach, where on one hand we invest in stocks which have cyclical characteristics and which we expect to turn around. On the other hand, we invest in stocks which have long runway for growth and have strong franchise. In both the cases, we invest in stocks which are cheap relative to expectations. As far as portfolio construction is concerned, we try to avoid taking any balance sheet risk while buying value stocks, while P&L risk is unavoidable in most such cases. In terms of sectoral approach, we try to participate in sectors which have seen mispricing, which is unlikely to sustain, or sectors which have seen supply disruptions while demand have remained intact. We have flexibility in terms of market cap allocation. Although the portfolio has large cap bias, we have a flexibility in terms of increasing allocation to mid and small cap based on valuation consideration. All the stocks we own in the portfolio are overweight. We do not keep an underweight position, which reflects on our high conviction levels. Thank you.
As a fund house at UTI, we emphasize a well-defined investment process for managing investments. This encompasses a strong framework for research combined with a disciplined and consistent approach to portfolio construction. Putting all of this together, the power of three can be at the core of your investment portfolio and practice differentiated investment styles. These funds have been in existence for a long time and have weathered multiple market cycles. UTI Master Share Unit Scheme is India's first equity-oriented fund with its launch in 1986. UTI Equity Fund, which has its inception date in 1992, was launched with the largest investor base at that point of time. UTI Value Opportunities Fund as well has a track record of over 15 years. We would recommend investors to look at the power of three to create the core of your investment portfolio to enable you to meet your financial goals and participate in our wealth creation journey with UTI as your trusted partner. Do consider the power of three to build the core of your investment portfolio today.
Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.